I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Among those who Trump said have been wronged were those charged with crimes for attacking the Capitol on January 6th. Trump himself faces multiple state and federal criminals. He told reporters none of them will force him out of the race, even if he is indicted.
Even think about leaving.
While Trump-dominated CPAC spoke this weekend at the Reagan Library. DeSantis is expected to challenge Trump for the Republican nomination. And while he didn't mention Trump by name, he took a veiled shot at the way the former president ran the White House.
I can tell you in 4 years, you didn't see our administration leaking like a sieve. You didn't see a lot of drama or palace intrigue. What you saw was surgical precision execution, day after day after.
Trump's only major declared Republican opponent is former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, as others.
The 2024 United States presidential election is just around the corner, marking the milestone of the 60th quadrennial showdown for the White House. And here's the interesting part. We've got a thrilling rematch on our hands. The political stage is about to heat up again. In one corner, we have the incumbent President Joe Biden from the Democratic Party, ready to defend his seat in the Oval Office. And in the other corner, we have the former Commander-in-Chief, the one and only Donald Trump, representing the Republican Party, back for another shot at the top spot. But this battle is more than just two personalities clashing. It's a battle of ideas, values, and policies that could shape the future of this nation. These candidates and their parties are worlds apart when it comes to critical issues. We're talking about crime, immigration, gun control, healthcare, abortion access, LGBT rights, the economy, and the state of democracy itself. The stakes couldn't be higher. So grab your popcorn, folks, because this race is going to be a roller coaster of debates, scandals, and surprises. How will this election shape up? The US elections in 2024 are locked and loaded, set to take place on Tuesday, November 5, 2024. It's the day when American voters will wield their power to determine the next president and vice president, who will lead the nation for a thrilling 4-year term. But hold on. That's not all. It's not just about the head honchos in the White House. We're also talking about the battlegrounds of the 119th Congress, where representatives and senators will be chosen to shape the future of legislation. And there's an exciting update on the electoral map. The consensus is saying that there are 235 electoral votes that are either safe, likely, or leaning toward the Democratic Party. On the other side, we've got 196 electoral votes that are safe, likely, or leaning toward the Republicans. That's a pretty tight race. We also have 107 electoral votes up for grabs in what we call the toss-up category. These babies could swing either way, making them crucial battlegrounds. Candidates will be hustling like crazy to win over these key states, like Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. It's going to be a fierce fight, folks. Now here's where it gets interesting. The outcome might depend on a whole bunch of factors. We're talking voter turnout. So get out there and vote, folks. Also, campaign strategies that'll leave us all in awe, media coverage that'll have us glued to our screens, and of course, public opinion, which can be quite the game changer. And you know what else is going to play a huge role in this election? The Senate and House elections. They're like the secret sauce that determines the balance of power in Congress and directly impacts how the president can get things done. But here's the thing, it's kind of hard to predict exactly how this election is going to shake out. Seriously, it's like trying to read minds or predict the next viral video. We can't just say for sure. But does Trump stand a chance in this election with a decline in supporters? So yeah, it's true that Trump is throwing his hat back in the ring for a shot at re-election. But here's the plot twist. His support among Republican voters has taken a bit of a dip since he left office. According to a fancy pants poll conducted by the New York Times and Siena College in July 2022, only 49% of Republican primary voters said they backed Trump for this nomination. Surprisingly, 25% of them preferred Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It looks like there's some competition brewing within the party. And wait, it gets even more interesting. The same poll revealed that 64% of primary voters under the age of 35 and 65% of those with at least a college degree would actually vote against Trump in a primary. But hold up, there's another poll in the mix. A CNN poll conducted by SSRS in May 2023 spilled some more tea. It showed that Trump had 53% of first-choice support among Republican and Republican-leaning voters, while DeSantis trailed behind at 26%. It looks like Trump still has a decent fan base, but DeSantis this is giving him a run for his money. And something else went down on January 6, 2021. Trump's conduct during that time was, let's just say, controversial. He got people all riled up and encouraged them to storm the Capitol, which caused quite the chaos. And guess what? It seemed like this whole episode played a role in him losing some of his popularity. Check this out. Around 1 in 5 Republican primary voters thought he went way too far and actually posed a threat to American democracy. That's a pretty big deal, right? But the drama didn't end there. Some of Trump's potential rivals, like DeSantis and former Vice President Mike Pence, didn't hold back their criticism. They accused him of messing with the party's unity and credibility. So it's like a political showdown with some serious accusations flying left and right. And what about his criminal charges? Trump has been hit with 34 felony charges by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. These charges are all about Trump allegedly messing with business records, like falsifying them. And why, you ask? Well, it's all tied to some hush money payments he supposedly made to keep his affairs on the down low. We're talking about Stormy Daniels, the adult film star, Karen McDougal, the former Playboy model, even a doorman from Trump Tower named Dino Sahudin. Talk about some scandalous secrets. According to some prosecutors, Trump went all out to cover his tracks. They say he faked records in his company, the Trump Organization, to make these payments look like they were legal fees or other expenses. They claim Trump had this whole catch-and-kill scheme going on with the National Enquirer, where he paid them to buy and bury the stories of these women. It's like a real-life drama. But Trump did not take this lying down. Nope, he denied any wrongdoing and called the whole case a witch hunt and political persecution. It became a battle of words and a fight for his reputation. And his sexual offenses? Let's talk about a couple of these allegations that have made headlines. One of them comes from E. Jean Carroll, a writer and advice columnist. She claimed that Trump sexually assaulted her in a dressing room at a fancy store called Bergdorf Goodman way back in 1996. Whoa, that's quite a claim. Trump denied her allegations and even called her a liar, which led Carroll to sue him for defamation. Recently, a jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing Carroll, but not for the rape she alleged. Talk about a legal twist. Another accuser is Summer Servos, a former contestant on a show called The Apprentice. She accused Trump of kissing and groping her without her consent at a hotel in 2007. Like Carroll, she also sued Trump for defamation after he called her and other accusers liars and nasty women. Her lawsuit is still ongoing in a New York state court. Now, there's also Ivana Trump, Trump's first wife, who made a disturbing accusation during their divorce proceedings. She initially claimed that he had raped her in 1989, but later retracted her statement and clarified that she didn't mean it in a literal or criminal sense. That's a lot of emotional turmoil to navigate, no doubt. But do these criminal charges disqualify Trump from being elected president? According to the good old US Constitution, there's actually no legal barrier that prevents a criminal from becoming a president. Yup, you heard that right. The Constitution sets some basic requirements for the job, like being a natural-born citizen, at least 35 years old, and a resident of the US for 14 years. That's it. Here's the kicker. Congress or states can't add extra qualifications on top of what the Constitution already says. So even if someone like Trump gets indicted or convicted of a crime, they can still run for president and technically serve in that role. Crazy, huh? But hold up. It's not all smooth sailing for a potentially criminal president. There are some practical challenges that could come into play. Picture this, campaigning from behind bars. Yeah, that's going to be a tough sell, right? Plus, public support could take a nosedive if people aren't too keen on having a convicted individual as their leader. Oh, and here's another twist. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution might come into play if someone like Trump is found to have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. It could potentially disqualify them from holding office. So what will the contest between Biden and Trump look like? The contest between Trump and Biden will be a fierce and polarizing one, with both candidates appealing to their base and trying to win over the swing states. Alright, let's dive into the pros of the one and only Trump. Love him or hate him, this guy's got some serious support. Here's what his fans are all about. First off, Trump's got a super loyal and enthusiastic following. They truly believe he's the one who could bring back that Make America Great Again vibe. It's like a fan club on steroids. Then there's his record on the economy. Before the pesky pandemic came along, Trump had a strong economy going on. He claims he rebuilt the military and even tightened up the border. He has a populist and nationalist message that resonates with many Americans who feel left behind by globalization and immigration. And let's not forget about his personality. Trump's like a master at grabbing the media's attention. He has a combative and charismatic personality that dominates the media and rallies his supporters. Now it's time to dig into the cons of Trump. He has been impeached twice, indicted once, and accused of sexual assault by multiple women. He has mishandled the pandemic response and downplayed the threat of the virus, resulting in hundreds of thousands of deaths and millions of infections. He has undermined democracy and the rule of law by spreading lies about election fraud and inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol. He has alienated many allies and provoked many enemies with his erratic and isolationist foreign policy. He also uses divisive and inflammatory rhetoric that fuels hatred and violence among his opponents. What about Biden? He has had a long and distinguished career in public service, having served as a senator for 36 years and as vice president for 8 years under Barack Obama. He has a moderate and pragmatic approach to governance, working across party lines and seeking consensus on key issues. He also has a compassionate and empathetic personality that appeals to many Americans who are tired of Trump's chaos and cruelty. But on the other hand, Biden is 79 years old and has shown signs of cognitive decline and physical frailty. He has a history of gaffes and plagiarism that have damaged his credibility and reputation. He has faced criticism from the progressive wing of his party for being too centrist and beholden to corporate interests. He has also been accused of inappropriate touching and sexual assault by a former Senate staffer. And he has a mixed record on foreign policy, having supported the Iraq War and opposed the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. So, which of these great men do you believe will indeed make America great again? Let's know what you think in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest news about what's happening in the world today. Thanks for watching.